Welcome to Geograpod, where we explore the incredible world around us, one topic at a time. I'm Alex, and in this Internet Geography Geograpod, we will explore ecosystems, including their characteristics and components, types of ecosystems, energy flows, and the nutrient cycle. An ecosystem is a community of living organisms, like plants, animals, and even tiny microbes, interacting with each other and with their non-living environment, such as air, water, and soil. Ecosystems can exist at many different scales. Some are very small, like a pond, while others stretch across vast areas of the Earth's surface, such as tropical rainforests and tundra, where plants and animals adapt to their environment. There's a useful term used by geographers for a global ecosystem, which is biome. So, for example, you could say the biome, mainly located between 10 degrees north and south of the equator, is the tropical rainforest. Regardless of the size of an ecosystem, whether it's small scale, such as a hedgerow, or a biome like a hot desert, it contains both biotic and abiotic features. The term biotic relates to the living parts of an ecosystem. These could be plants, animals, and microscopic organisms. Even biomes, such as hot deserts, contain biotic elements. For example, the Sahara Desert is home to 500 species of plants, 70 species of mammals, 300 species of birds, 100 species of reptiles, and many species of spiders and scorpions. Abiotic elements of an ecosystem are non-living, such as water, air, sunlight, and minerals. Ecosystems are made up of biotic and abiotic elements, regardless of their size. These biotic and abiotic elements are linked. For example, vegetation absorbs rainwater that enters the soil. The flow of energy is another important aspect of ecosystems. Organisms within an ecosystem are classed as producers, consumers, or decomposers. Energy flows through these organisms within an ecosystem. Producers, such as trees, produce food and begin this cycle. Using energy from the sun, they produce food. They do this by photosynthesis. Most producers are plants, but some tiny organisms produce food through photosynthesis. Producers are eaten by primary consumers, such as rabbits, who cannot produce food themselves. Primary consumers are herbivores, which means they only eat plants. A secondary consumer is an organism that primarily feeds on primary consumers. Secondary consumers are often carnivores, meat eaters, or omnivore, organisms that eat both plants and animals. As an example, grass would be a producer, growing through photosynthesis. This would be eaten by a rabbit, which is a primary consumer. Then, a secondary consumer, such as a fox, might consume the rabbit. A food chain shows the flow of energy and nutrients from one organism to another as each is consumed. The arrows show the direction of energy transfer from one organism to another. Ecosystems are much more complicated than a simple food chain. They include many different producers and primary and secondary consumers, not seen in a simple food chain. Tertiary consumers, organisms commonly found at the top of a food chain, are also involved. A food web is used to show lots of different food chains and how they overlap. Instead of showing just one linear path, it connects the multiple feeding relationships between different organisms. For example, a rabbit might eat several types of plants, and a fox might prey on various animals, not just rabbits. Our food web captures all these overlapping food chains, illustrating the interdependence of species in an ecosystem. It's worth mentioning at this point that decomposers are also a really important element of the flow of energy within ecosystems. Decomposers break down dead plants and animals. They also break down the waste of other organisms. Examples of decomposers include bacteria and fungi. Decomposers get their energy from breaking down dead material, such as dead producers, dead consumers, or fallen leaves. When dead material decomposes, nutrients are released into the soil, which plants then absorb. Decomposers are very important for any ecosystem. Without them, the plants would not receive essential nutrients, and dead matter and waste would gather. Minerals needed for growth move through the environment via the nutrient cycle. First, plants take these minerals from soil or water. Then, when animals eat plants, or other animals, they pass the minerals along. Eventually, when organisms die or release waste, these minerals return to the soil or water, allowing the cycle to start again. The nutrient cycle can be presented as a diagram to show the flow of nutrients between stores. As we can see, nutrients are held in 3 stores. These are biomass, litter, and soil. A biomass store refers to the total mass of living organisms, like plants, animals, and microbes, in an ecosystem at any one time. In the nutrient cycle, these organisms store nutrients, such as minerals, in their bodies. When the organisms die or release waste, those nutrients return to the environment, continuing the cycle. The litter store is the layer of dead plant and animal material on the ground, things like fallen leaves, twigs, and other organic matter. Over time, this litter gets broken down by decomposers, such as bacteria and fungi, which releases nutrients back into the soil for plants to use again. The soil store is the reservoir of nutrients held within the soil itself. When dead plants and animals, the litter, decompose, nutrients are released into the soil. Plants then absorb these nutrients through their roots, continuing the cycle. The nutrient cycle also shows flows of nutrients to and from these different stores. We've added a quiz on internet geography which you can have a go at to check your understanding of what we've covered in this Geograpod. There's a link on the screen, or you can get to it using the link in the description. Have a go, and let us know how you get on in the comments below. Check out our other videos and our growing collection of Geograpods on ecosystems.